think my main issue is like what we discussed just now. It makes sense, and the acting was solid, but the movie didn't capture me like beat wise. So I think the way that they made it, it lacked the high arcs. So that's where they could have improved from the standpoint of just making a more solid movie. Um, like he burned the blonde guy. Even though he burned him, that scene could have been a lot more culminating, right? But it didn't feel like it was like this main point in the movie. So while I see what they're going for, the whole movie kind of felt a little bit flat. Like there's nothing that kept me on the edge of my seat that much, except a couple of moments where he shows up and tries to kill you.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I would agree with that to a certain sense. I mean, I also think that, I'm a little confused of when does the entity try to kill you and when does it leave you alone? Like, how long after you trying to engage in some sort of sexual activity with it, thinking it's your partner, is it going to leave you alone? If you don't ever interact with it sexually, does it not kill you? They didn't really explain that part of things. They just kind of, I think they left that a little open to interpretation, or that it's always out to get you no matter what you do.
The entity is not really well defined. You don't really know its powers because in one scene he's running away from the entity and it's behind him, and then he starts looking around and it's in front of him. So I guess like it teleports, but then when he's inside the house, it like follows the rules of physics and it can't enter the house unless it opens a door.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
that's definitely an odd part too. It's like it chooses when it can bend the rules, and I don't know. That was a little silly. Yeah, it's like you can't get through a screen door. Well, you can get through a screen door, if you punch through it, but yeah, it can evaporate and end up in another part of town. That's a pretty odd choice.
It's strange because even when they were fighting, when they were inside the warehouse, the entity was like has a power it can pick up this thing that they couldn't pick up,
Yeah.
and then he like puts his hand on an entity, and that somehow like makes the entity experience love and stop. But before, it didn't show that this is what would make it stop.
Yeah, that part didn't really make any sense to me at all. And I think having it pick up that thing, it would have been a lot more interesting if it didn't pick that up and you didn't know if it was, there should have been a misleading moment for me where he's not really sure if it's his boyfriend or if it's the entity. And they showed us immediately when he picks up the thing, like, oh, it's the entity. But yeah, when he like caresses his face, every other thing we've seen in the movie should show that that would
Yeah.
react in a violent reaction.
But actually, when it's close to you, that's when it gets more violent. Bites your ear off. It tries to kill you. But then all of a sudden, when you're physically touching it, it doesn't.
So do you think it's like it was because he was showing love knowing that it was the entity and not under the understanding that it was his partner? Because that's, I mean, essentially
I
what
guess
stopped
maybe
it.
if you want to say, like, oh, he had this awareness that this is an entity and now he chooses to love the entity. So he, like, accepts the shadow, and maybe that makes the shadow kind of, like, freak out and buys him time. But that could have been done more, like, that's where they shot it to where they kind of didn't give this moment enough power. So that's why we're a little bit confused as an audience member. And also, if we talk about the entity being so strong it can pick up the thing with one hand that they couldn't pick up with both, but then when he's inside the house, he can't just break
You
through the
can't break
door.
through a door? Yeah, very confusing. Yeah, and I'm trying to like think more on that. I think that last scene, I was really supposed to get something out of it, and I feel like I didn't necessarily, or at least I didn't grasp the full meaning of it. But yeah, and it's like maybe showing love to the entity is, you know, kind of like showing love to people that want to see you, want to beat you down until you believe the way they believe, and like showing them love might be able to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
get them to
But that's like a
stop.
lot of theorizing, right? They should have made it a little bit more clear.